behind me I have a really old four-wheeler. I say really old, it's only 10 years older than me. But I am going to be doing a couple things today. I have a handlebar e-brake that isn't working right, and I got to fix that. I have a hitch that needs to be welded on. It keeps coming loose. And I got a stator that went bad on me. Of course, it was on the side of a mountain. I had to push it back down the hill. But I got a stator that went bad, so I don't have any spark, no battery. So I'm going to get that fixed and see if we can get this thing running again. Take it long. Okay, I'll try to take you in and see this, but this is probably not the best way to fix it. But I have a aftermarket handlebar brakes on here, and but I need this e-brake right here. The problem is this bolt that I put on here, even if I double nut it and tighten it as tight as I can, when I'm riding it, this thing rattles loose. So I'm going to take just a welder, I'm just going to weld that, just tack weld that nut on there so it can't fall off. So I'll take you here, let's see if I can. So this right here is that e-brake latch. But if this bolt down here, this bolt right here does not want to stay on. So I'm just going to take I already cut a little bit into it. I'm just going to tack weld this nut on each side here so it won't go anywhere on me. I'll let you watch that. To go. I'll start welding on the hitch. So the problem with this hitch, I use it to move a trailer every once in a while. The problem with this hitch is it just bolts on back here. Well, when I get that trailer behind it, it's a little heavier, and it just pushes this thing to the side when I take turns. So I'm just going to run my welder down the side here. I've already ground that off. I didn't bore you guys with that. I ground this off and I ground this other side off. So I'm going to take my welder and I'm just going to lay a pretty thick heavy bead on the side here, on each side, so that hopefully it won't move anywhere soon. Alright, so now I'll take my grinder and I'll grind that off, make it look pretty, and give it a paint job so it doesn't rust up on me. And hopefully that thing ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So thanks for that. Now we'll move on to the stator. So I'm gonna take this off. I gotta take this cover off and take the pull cord to the actual connector inside here off, and take the cover off to the actual part of the motor to get to the stator. And then I'll take the new stator, put the new one in, wire it up. Hopefully we get this thing to start running and going for us. So I'll take you along for it. Alright, so I'm going to use my impact gun, take these 10 millimeters off. So I'll take this out. I'll kind of show you this. This is kind of cool actually. So it has a one-way ratchet. Kind of grabs in on those pins down there. But as soon as you let go, it goes away. Kind of cool. So next, I think it's a 14 millimeter. I'm going to take that 14 millimeter off, and then I'll be able to take that cover off. It's kind of right there. So. Now this cover comes off, and this one's fun too because this is actually what, like on a vehicle, would be your flywheel. So it's not like it's easy to get on and off. I have a puller that I'll be able to use to get this off. It just kind of screws into these three and pops this off. So hopefully I'll be able to get that here. Once I remember how I got it off last time, it wasn't too hard. Okay, so once you got this in here, this is the piece I'm replacing, the stator right here. So it sits on the back. Inside here, there's this magnet. I'm going to try to clean these off too. It looks like they've gotten a little soiled just over time. This is a two-stroke, so every once in a while you get some oil down in here, which isn't a bad thing, but I'm going to see if I can clean this up the best I can, and then I'm going to take this out and see if I can wire in the new one correctly. So, go to there. So I'll just kind of take some parts cleaner and like a Brillo pad, kind of try to clean that out. Just kind of show you guys the difference. So it looks a lot cleaner. So the magnet on this. So these are just metal plates. Excuse me, I was wrong. So that the metal plate can sense when these are going by, so that it sets up the timing as well as charges the battery and keeps the spark going. So I was actually lucky enough to find an original Polaris part, which I didn't think was possible. This is an '86 Polaris, so a lot of the parts I have put on this were not Polaris parts, because they're almost impossible to find. So I was kind of grateful to be able to find a Polaris part. So hopefully this fixes my problem. Alright, so now I'm going to see if I can get this unwired on this other one. I'm getting a little close. So I get this other one unwired. It looks like there's two solder joints, so I have to get my solder kit out. So, but you know. This probably seems obvious to most of you, but it might be a better idea to unhook the battery before you start this. I'll go ahead and do that now. I'm going to cut behind the solder joint so that I still have a little extra room in there. And in here there's these little kind of covers. I'm going to keep those. I might actually end up replacing them with a heat shrink, but that was what was in there, so I might as well keep it out. So this is the old one. You really can't tell not much difference, but it does seem to have been run around a couple times. So, like I said, hopefully I can get this one to fit in there and work, and that I won't have any problems after this. So, fingers crossed. Now I'm going to use my solder gun and kind of put a little bit of solder on there just to kind of protect it a little bit, and I think that'll be good actually, so we're good to go. Okay, so ignore the really bad solder job, but this is what I got so far. So I was able to get these connectors on. I'm not very good with a soldering gun. I'm still definitely learning. But I got some solder on here. I got these protected. So now all I got to do is bolt this back on, bolt this back up, put my flywheel cover back on, and then put the cover back on and the pull cord back on, connect the battery, and cross my fingers. Hopefully this fixes my problem. So I'll take you. So I'm going to get this put back together. Hopefully we got everything. Hopefully this solves my problem. I really hope so. If not, then I'll have to keep digging, but I really hope that this is my problem. So this just kind of sits in here. So this part actually doesn't, this part stays stationary. It's the shaft that moves around it. So it's not like you have to get this overly protected in here. But I do want to make sure that we're not getting too many things caught on everything. In fact, I might just take a piece of electrical tape and just kind of cover those so they're not grounding out or shorting out on them. So I'm going to try to wipe these off so that they have a good contact surface to be able to work, so they keep continuously picking up the correct signal. So I'll do that real quick. Okay, so I got the flywheel back on. I got this little collar back on, so I'm going to put this back on and use my kind of design for this, but it's got a big washer. I put a little copper anti-seize on here the last time I did this, so I'm going to do that again, just so that it doesn't get too hot when I'm using this as a pulley to push this on. On here, and then I'll get the cover back on, and then we'll see if this thing will, I'll pull out the driveway and see if this thing will fire up for me. Cross my fingers. Cover on, and the starter pin, you gotta want to make sure that you line it up with this pin inside here. Just kind of a bearing, basically, that it sits in there. It spins when it's not activated. Get that lined up, and then there's a pin on this top side here that you line up. Push that on, and then I prefer just put this on. It holds the cover on somewhat, but kind of just get the tools out already. Might as well put this one on. Moment of truth. Let's pray that I fixed it. So, I forgot to film it. Battery died on me, but I did get it running. Starts up, runs. I think it still needs a spark plug. It's still running just a little rough, but it's out of the garage, and I can move on to the next project. Fortunately, its life is now going to be lived out here. Most of its life is lived outside, so I'm not too worried about it, but I do want to try to keep it nice, so I'm going to tarp it up. But thanks for watching today. Remember to like and subscribe. Make comments down below if you want me to show you guys anything else. I have a few projects coming up, so I'll try to film those. Thanks very much and have a great day. See ya.